response to yesterday's game. We talked about it. Ban the Lulu. No longer can you do that Juggernaut composition. It's out of there.
Okay, so that was pretty much planned out.
Yep.
LeBlanc and Zed were actually the first two bans from Gamers 2 yesterday.
Yes,
so
they were.
They'll do the exact same thing, so they weren't really phased by what Dignitas had to offer yesterday.
It'll be if it's the same as yesterday, Rek'Sai here.
Yeah.
The Nidaleers come out here from Team Dignitas. That is, unless they wanted to first pick Rek'Sai, but that's not something Gamers 2 have done too much.
Yeah, but with that with that Lulu pick, coming out, that will mean that it allows them maybe a Morgana, maybe even allows them an Ezreal, so they have multiple compositions, multiple options available to them. Here's the Victor ban out against Senkux. He had an amazing game yesterday.
That's really smart, and also now forces Team Dignitas to ban a second jungler. They have to ban Rek'Sai. Yep. Otherwise, it's an easy first pick for Gamers 2. So what's available yesterday? They've pretty much been banning. The Ezreal was the missing one. Other things available would be
Lissandra.
A flex ban. Yeah, flex pick for Lissandra. So now this gives Gamers 2 a lot of versatility here in the lineups. And what do they answer with?
Flex into flex.
Flex, yeah. Everybody.
There's the Morgana, there's the Corki as well, a safe AD carry to be picking up very early into their draft. Not revealing a whole lot so far, neither is Gamers 2. Now they'll start fleshing out their picks and bans and maybe just show a little more to Team Dignitas so they can have some time to react.
Yeah, indeed. And I kind of want to go back to the Victor ban. Senkux has been tweeting a lot, as he does, that he's been tweeting that he's becoming a Victor one-trick because he, in his own words, is so good on Victor that he just plays it so much that why play anything else? Which is a problem to some extent. Now, we know he's not a Victor one-trick.
Yeah, we've seen the Azir, which we probably won't see, but we've seen lots of things.
Ahri is in his champion pool. It's available here in this game. He knows he might have to play against a Lissandra, so we know he's not a one-trick, but his Victor has been pretty strong.
Yeah, and that's been taken away. It's smart from Gamers 2. They will be picking themselves the Lee Sin themselves for the jungle, for Gilius coming in here. Actually seen some very good performances from Gilius in recent weeks compared to how he started off, and also the Annie as well, so most likely going to go to Hiva in the bottom lane.
Most likely, yes. That would normally be the case at this point. So, Gamers 2 have themselves a fair amount of engage, or aggression at least. You look at the Flash Lissandra ults, Flash Annie ults as well. Lee Sin, we saw Gilius using the angles to his advantage in the highlight clip. So, there's a lot of ways to get to the backline here for Gamers 2.
There is, and there's lots of ways to push them away, because we have the Janna coming in, and we have the Vi as well for the jungle. So Broken Shard prioritizing the Vi, still in 5.4, remember, so this is the patch before all the changes.
So the question here is, do they bank on Team Dignitas putting Morgana on Voidal, which Morgana's not really a Voidal champion, more likely to be top lane. So do they pick something that is strong as a solo laner here for Smithy J, give him a carry up in the top lane that he wants in this game? I can tell that he's saying, look, we can get me a top laner and I can carry this game, put Ica on Lissandra.
Yeah.
Maokai's not that kind of champion. I mean, it would work in their comp, but that's not Smitty J's playstyle. Jeebus, on the other hand.
Hecarim, Fizz.
Yeah, I mean, Hecarim and Fizz would be champions that would be available. The Fizz is going to come out. It looks like it's going to get locked in. It does. So now they're banking on being able to play this Fizz potentially into the Morgana top lane. This could result in a lane swap, which we know Fizz isn't good in, and Morgana is exceptional.
Yeah, so Team Dignitas, where do they go from here, which gives them the best opportunity in the early game? What's open for them? So they have the flex of Morgana. They could pick the mid lane. They could pick the top lane. Probably going to be a mid lane, right?
Yeah, I'm stupid because they know that Morgana's going top because the Janna's already picked. Yeah. So scrap that. They picked the Fizz into the Morg. That last game has thrown me for a loop. I'm so that was so back and forth. Okay, we're into
so far.
I'm going to take a moment. We already talked about the
Don't worry, I don't think a Fiora's coming in, so I don't think that's going to...
That would completely throw me for a loop. We talked about the Ahri already. And, you know, we've seen Senkux play it. It's getting low on the timer. I don't see too many options getting locked in here against Lissandra. So it makes a whole lot of sense in between the Vi and the Ahri. That's a lot of kill potential between the two, and the Dark Blinding. You've got to get it all to land, but there is the potential there.
There is. There's lots of pick potential. We saw some great bindings last game, and we might see the same this time onto the top lane now of Wonderwear. And yeah, looking at the full compositions, got some pick, got some disengage, we've got some run at them, kind of from Gamers 2, but the Janna's always going to be in the back lines to defend.
Yeah, and again, it's a champion that I don't normally associate too much with Voidal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very strong champion
Braum.
within the meta. It's not the Leona, it's not the Brauman. It's actually, normally we've seen the Leona into the Annie matchup, and I'm a little bit surprised that Voidal didn't look to go for it, but the amount of disengage is good for their comp. They can push the Lee Sin, they can push the Lissandra out of the fight as well, so...
Yeah, it was a reaction to the Lee Sin and Lissandra as well, so you can obviously see why it came in. But yeah, before we do hit the Rift though, dash over to LOL Esports and get your votes in, and we'll check in with your responses later in the match. And this one really could go either way. It's important for both of these teams for various reasons why they pick up a win here. Team Dignitas maybe even a little more than Gamers 2, because this would be their upwards trend if they were to start it.
Yeah, the other thing that is a factor in this, Gamers 2 play Mouse next week, which, I mean, generally, if you've been playing against Mouse, it's a good sign for the week. I mean, 8 out of 8 ain't bad, mate. So, you know, he's managed, or Mouse have managed to bring good luck. I know you're smiling inside at the fact that I just said that. Mouse just have been proved as a good luck charm.
Yeah, so we're going to be heading into game here, and Gamers 2 will be hitting the spawn pad. Where are they going to be going? What's that smile for, Stress?
Oh dear, I can't believe I just said 8 out of 8.
You've been corrupted.
I have, man.
Perfect. Team Dignitas up in the red side as well. We'll be heading out here. Will we see any early game plays from these two teams? We've seen it in pretty much all of the games we've seen so far, today at least. They'll be heading into that top jungle. Gamers 2 also all into the top lane. Where are they going? Will we see the two teams maybe even go head-to-head? We do have Gilius coming in through here. Smitty coming in from the bot side. So that is the normal route for a top laner. Just in case Team Dignitas do see him, they wouldn't know anything's up. And Broken Shard will be doing the same. Sankook sitting in the mid lane, and everyone else clustered around the top side. We may see a team interaction.
We may. I'd like to see that early on. We already said this could be a bit of a bloodbath when it comes to... sticking around to get kills a little bit longer than you should do. Mainly because, as I said, no love lost between either of these teams, which certainly provides you with a bit more of an explosive element between the two. But Gamers 2 are going to sneak into the jungle.
Yeah, Gamers 2 have made their way in, but so have Team Dignitas. So in fact, they're all going to get exactly what they need. Pings go down onto potential ward locations and exactly where they want it to go down. Team Dignitas actually don't get the ward all the way around the backside, but they do get it in the lane regardless to maybe see out a lane swap up. Likewise, Gamers 2 kind of do the generic thing and do the same, but in the normal place. Gamers 2 now sitting in the jungle. It seems like they've swapped sides.
They have. This could be a fun one. Ooh, Ica. Ooh. Sankook won't have his charm this early.
He's going to go right into the bush. There's the Q. He even comes in with a huge stun onto 4. Gilius as well jumps into the back line. He'll go into Wonderwear. That's first blood for the Lee Sin. Broken Shard also taking a bunch of damage. This would be another early game kill onto him. Will they get it? Do they have some flashes? They pretty much used everything. There's the Q. It lands onto the backside of Broken Shard. He's died in half of the games before 10 minutes. And this just adds to that statistic.
Chalk another one up. And it's that there's so little way of escaping in that kind of situation. But if there's one thing to do to reduce that chance of getting hit by a skill shot, don't run in the small gap between the tower and the wall, because a Q is really easy to hit during that line. Like that.
Dodging 101 with stress.
Dodging 101. Don't pin yourself against walls and towers. But to be honest, to Broken Shard's credit, he was not in the easiest of positions anyway. So I just mean in future. For any of our viewers, in future.
I feel you feel very strongly about this topic, Chris. But yeah, let's take a look at what all that meant, because Broken Shard did die there. That was 2 early kills to Gamers 2 right there. And that was pretty much all of their... that was all of the flashes from Gamers 2 going down. Almost all of the summoners. Jeebus is the only one who comes out with a summoner remaining, being his own heal. And, of course, Spite for Gilius. And he'll actually go into the opposing jungle, take away this blue buff. He may triple buff Broken Shard at the start of this game. Broken Shard hasn't decided to counter jungle himself, so yeah, this will maybe be a trouble buff.
Yeah. Trouble buff indeed.
Trouble buff.
There's a lot of trouble buffs here for Broken Shard, because he has to go straight over to the blue buff, but he can't do it. When I say blue buff, I mean G2's blue buff. The reason he can't do it is because look at how top lane is already pushing in favor of G2. There is no way that Broken Shard, and now with that pink ward down as well, very early pink ward out of Ica, there is no way that G2 will let Broken Shard past that defensive line and into their jungle. So this is really good play to get the 3-buff start for Gilius.
Yeah, really nice, because Jeebus will just be pushing up against a Corki who doesn't have the greatest of laning phases, especially into that champion. And the Broken Shard will be behind in this early game. Has gone back to base, picked up the Trailblazer, but Gilius, having picked up both of those 2 early game kills, is well on his way to the Warrior enchant. So
yes,
he's so far ahead, and he may even just try to stamp down the authority onto Broken Shard.
I mean, Lee Sin is a fairly good champion when it comes to trading against a Vi very early on. Normally, if you, it depends on your sustain through the jungle.
Double longsword will help.
Yeah, exactly. Double longsword is going to make sure that if Gilius ever finds Broken Shard is going down again.
And he is sitting in the top lane, maybe trying to get a kill onto the top lane here.
Stunlands.
Voidal, there's the Q as well, followed with the resonating strike, double tap from Jeebus. Corbe comes in and look, he told us as many ways to pronounce his name.
I was about to give you the benefit of the doubt. We were speaking of Cobby. Man, you've got me doing it. We've been speaking to Cobby, and I said to him, how do you pronounce your name? And he said, Kobe at first, which I was like, okay, I can say it. Kobe or Kobe, and I don't mind which one you use. And I'm there thinking, how do you not know your own name? Like, that is, anyway, that's, so if you hear us switch between the 3 of them.
Don't worry, he's fine with it.
Yeah, it's not Kobe from North American LCS, although I did find he's actually really highly ranked on America right now. He was playing with Impaler and a load of Challenger players the other day on Impaler's stream. It could be. Maybe that'll be a worthwhile replacement.
Wow. Anyway, moving on. So top lane, Jeebus and Hiva with this 2v2. They haven't managed to get the early advantage with the gank as well from Gilius was really nice. It will put them slightly ahead in farm, but the bot lane is kind of what I want to talk more about, because Wonderwear and Smitty J, that is a big CS differential now opening up. 15 CS over his opponent here. So Gamers 2 do have that early game advantage, not only in terms of kills, but in terms of that bottom lane as well.
And we haven't seen too much of this exact matchup. We've seen a lot of Fizz and we've seen a lot of Morgana in top lane, or what is in this game now, bot lane matchups. So the fact that Fizz is getting ahead this early on is a very good sign. He's got the health potions to sustain him. He actually hasn't been forced. Man, is Wonderwear just not pressuring him at all? He's got 4 health potions and 3 flask charges against a ranged champion in a one-on-one matchup. That tells me a lot about Wonderwear, unless there's something glaringly obvious that I missed at the beginning of the laning phase after the level 1. That's very strange.
And it's strange and very not good for Team Dignitas. We'll see how this develops over the next couple of minutes. Gilius has found Senkux in the mid lane, but just does enough to move him backwards. Gilius, funny enough, is now behind in levels versus Broken Shard, who's primarily been farming to catch up, where Gilius has been trying to press his advantage to no avail, really. He'll be in the opposing jungle, and he's really just falling slightly behind to Broken Shard, despite the great start.
Yeah, only in the sense that Broken Shard had... because Broken Shard stuck around, did a couple of camps earlier. This is what Gilius wants here, though, is this fight. Although saying that, Broken Shard is going to get the better, but Ica is going to come across. And
that's the wrong person to ult, and that will just leave Gilius to die. The teleport also came in from Wonderwear. Not too sure about it. The kill was secured anyway, and Smitty J also teleports in.
Okay, 2 things on that engage. One, the obvious. Ica has now got binded as well. Ica ults himself by mistake. He actually flash ulted himself by mistake. The second thing, why did Smitty J complete that teleport? Because Fizz is a champion that struggles to push ever. He's just basically gifted a free lane out of Wonderwear, getting out of lane, so he can even set this lane up and try and push it into the turret if he sticks around with the added time and get himself the time to head back and make sure he's all sorted. He did actually back before. I may be very mistaken. He may have been back in base when it came to that fight. I didn't see his positioning before, so maybe the teleport was okay. And backtracking.
Yeah, it was a little funny either way. There was a lot to digest in that one, and we'll see if we can break it down. But Gilius, now moving through his jungle, we'll find it's been slightly counter jungle. That may have actually been himself as he quickly reacted to that. Broken Shard and Voidal will be moving through their jungle, and Voidal will be heading back to his own AD carry, of course. There is no Annie there currently, so he knows that he's probably roaming, that being Heaver. So he'll be doing the same, maybe trying to counter-gank. Ica maybe finding himself said Voidal. And they'll try and long-range take down this ward. It looks like Gamers 2 will get the better of it. Broken Shot comes in. He'll be ulting onto Heaver, though. Senkos will come in from the mid lane, trying to get this setup. He'll be flashing away from this. That will be the Ice Shot coming across. There's the Glacial Path as well. Ica will cut off his retreat. First kill onto Heaver. Can they follow up onto Broken Shot to find a return kill? Looks like the answer is no. Good
timing. They knew the Lissandra ultimate wasn't available. As long as Team Dignitas split here and don't allow Broken Shot to get picked off. Oh, Jeebus.
Oh,
they're coming over the wall. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, Broken Shot. That's painful.
That's not been a good place for him this game.
That is really painful. That an AD carry roams down from top lane, gets a ward over the wall, and that's so sad.
Yeah.
I feel for Broken Shot on that one. Maybe he was. He did start to move around, though.
But kind of like in a circle, so he carried on getting hit by the culling shots.
Oh dear, that's I mean great for Jeebus. Jeebus is a player that is doing very well.
Had a killer game yesterday.
He did indeed. Yeah, I also went back and checked. Fizz was between his turrets, the inner and the outer. Okay. So he was in a position where he could have pushed, but he wasn't right in the lane. It's one of those.
I'll give him a pass.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 50-50. It's fine.
Here comes the engage from Ica, though. Gilius from the side tries to land a Q. Doesn't choose to go for it, though. Senkux was behind his turret, and his ultimate had just come off cooldown. So that would have been a good time to go because he didn't have it, but it was so close to the timer. Gilius wasn't sure about it and opted not to go for it. So that was the smart play. Now, moving on maybe to this River Crab to get some vision. Also heading into the jungle, the buffs have started to respawn. We might see some aggression over it. These teams really are fighting tooth and nail over literally everything.
Well, we did say it was going to be a game full of animosity, and you can certainly feel the Broken Shot. Okay. Broken Shot is getting the raw end of that deal already. He is 0-2 so far, but as always, Senkux is 2-0 in this game. He's ahead in lane in CS as well, and is close to getting his first item. Blue buff going over to him as well, so Senkux is in a good position here as we head towards the first dragon of the game. Another couple of minutes yet, maybe. But certainly these teams will be starting to look for it after the item spikes.
Well, the difference in this game as well, yes, Senkux is ahead, which we typically come to expect by now.
Yeah.
But Wonderware is usually the other person who was ahead, and talking about him, he's getting caught in the mid lane against Smitty J. He's got so much damage. There is the E! Duke's out of the way of the damage, but he probably will be taken down here.
He's going down.
Yeah, there we go. Tower will finish him off. So, gets the 1-for-1, but Wonderware is also usually ahead of his lane because the two lanes is really what makes up Team Dignitas EU get the solo lanes ahead, but he is so far behind, furthest behind I've actually seen him in a while, with Smitty J being so far ahead. That one kill in exchange will just keep the playing field level.
So in that engage in the bot lane, Smitty J knew that he could beat Wonderware.
Yeah. I
mean, he knew he had the power right there. You could see, otherwise he wouldn't have gone for it. But that's how much Smitty J wants to get into this game. Yesterday, he just sat around on Lulu and just was utility. This game, he's like, okay, I'm just going to dive you. I know you've got ult under turret. I know you've got flash. All I got to do is dodge your binding, and I'm okay, but I'm probably going to die to tower if I can't get out. So a little bit messy out of Smitty J. But again, there's no holding back in this game. Nobody is saying, you know, we could try and kill you one-on-one, but it's better if I don't right now.
yeah, no one is pulling any punches.
But, I mean, the other thing it's going to do is extend the lead that he has. 94 CS to 66 right now. It makes it more difficult for a Morgana to sit there against a Fizz because he does get the kill, gets the extra gold, gets the itemization, whereas Wonderware just opted for the level 2 boots from Sorcerer Shoes.
Yeah, taking a look at the items as well across the board, mid lane has both gone for the Morellonomicon, so we're hitting spiked there. Dragon may be on the agenda for the team, for the two teams. Gilius has gone for the Crab, also cleared out the Vision. It's well in the side of Gamers 2 if they choose to go for it. They'll have the early alarm system for them. But Senkux in the mid lane, maybe caught out. Ica from the side, trying to get that ultimate down. Wonder where it was off to the side. They saw him with the ward, so there's the reason why they didn't go for that kill. And now we do have the Fizz teleporting in from the top lane. Wonderware doesn't need to do so. He might be able to get a kill on the retreat. Lands onto Broken Shot with the Chum the Waters, trying to get some more damage down. There's the Piercing Light. Gillis following through as well. There's Jeebus once again getting a kill with the culling, using Tibbers to tank up the turret, maybe looking to go deeper. Will not be the case. And now they can turn their attention onto that dragon, or even anything else they want to go for. It will be that dragon.
Yeah, game is 2 right now. They know that they don't have a Voidal to contend with here at this dragon. And they can already see Ari in that middle lane and Corki in the bottom lane. Corki's actually pushed up a little bit, and he's coming around the side. This could be very deadly. No Tibbers available, but a flash stun in the bottom lane could still do the work. Valkyrie did, however, I believe, get Cobby out. I saw it on the minimap. He just went
faster, so I can assume he Valkyried.
Exactly. So
and he had flash and heal as well, so...
Indeed. Yeah, he was fine.
He had ways to get out of jail, for sure. But yeah, talking about items coming into the bot lane, Jeebus has picked up his BF sword now, looking towards, of course, the Trinity Force from Corki. Where else would he go? So, of course, looking towards the middle lane, or mid-game. There we go.
Something in the game.
Something in the game towards the middle is what Cobby is looking for.
It's in the game. However, what I did want to talk about AD carries, the Berserkers groups come out very early on to this Lucian, and we haven't seen Lucian too much recently. Seen it every now and again. Forgiven it from SK Gaming is one of the players that will still pick Lucian very often. We haven't seen it too much, and one of the last times that we saw it a little while back was when you'd pick up the Lucidity boots and get the Ghost Blade and just use it on his ult all the time. However, this time he's opting for the attack speed, but one thing about getting attack speed now is even though he's ahead 2-0 and 2, Corki is still going to hit his power spike faster with that Trinity Force before you require the Infinity Edge and attack speed item spike on the Lucian. So he's delaying it even further by getting boots, because he won't get that second item like a Shiv or a Ghost Blade as quickly as Corki is going to be able to punish him with that Trinity Force. Ultimate in the middle lane.
Yeah, right onto Senkox, has his own ultimate as well. There's the Spirit Rush. Gillis comes in from the side. Tibbers does not land, but Voidal was caught amongst the action. There's the kick, there's the Q. That is the kill for Gilius. Very nicely played by Gamers2, just picking up another advantage. Senkox again escapes with his life and will slay Tibbers, but whether he can clear out the minion wave as well is another question entirely. Broken Shot is there to assist, though.
He is, and he's got his ultimate available, but Senkox is pretty low on health, so...
Also has Smite if he needed it.
Much. Yes, which still feels weird to say.
Yeah. I'll smite one minion, but at least now, yeah, it will smite an AoE around it. So Gilius and Heaver heading into the jungle here. Maybe trying to catch out Broken Shot again. They saw him on the ward. There comes the stun down,
lands.
But he already managed to get the Vault Breaker down. Gilius lands the Sonic Wave, but chooses not to go in.
His brain's telling him no.
And his body told him no as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the exception to the rule.
Voidal tries to push him away from his ward, but he's only a Janna, so he can't stop them from taking his precious wards. Cobby in the bot lane will be putting some hurt onto Ica and doing some damage to this turret, or maybe not. He'll be taking a trip back to base. He's already picked up his Trinity Force, and as we were talking about before, Jeebus has now picked up his Infinity Edge. Top lane, though. Aggression onto Wonderware. There's the ultimate. Chum the Waters will be landing. Flash comes through from Wonderware as well, but as Gilius is there to close in for the kill, there's the Q, and once again in this game, Sonic Wave was all he needed to finish off a kill.
Yeah, and honestly, again, Fizz knows how much damage he has compared to Wonderware. Wonderware's only just, I believe, completed that Seeker's Arm Guard, maybe a little bit earlier before that engage, but Smitty J has so much more damage if the Chum the Waters lands. And like Gilius is just there. He doesn't even need Gilius' help for that kill. But Gilius is in the area and just calls in.
Does use his ultimate onto Jeebus. Gets some knockback using Vault Breaker, but now he's in the middle of enemy territory. Gilius is coming in from the top side. Ica from the bot side as well. Big ultimate will finish the kill onto Voidal. Broken Shot also fell in that engagement. Ica was taken in return for Team Dignitas EU, so that's a 1-for-2 trade overall. Now Smitty J coming in from the top side, trying to cut off the retreat from Cobby. And he will not quite get it onto that Corki, so he'll be heading back to base here, or at least trying to defend his turret. Senkox is pushing in.
In that engage, Heaver used Tibbers, the stun Tibbers, on only Senkox, who had a black shield on him at the time as well. So big engage tool that could have been used for the counter wasn't there.
Though, coming in from Gilius, doesn't land the Q though. Onto Wonderware, big damage in return onto Heaver though. Cobby as well gets the damage onto the AD carry, and that will be a return kill onto Cobby himself. Senkox and Wonderware also low. Smitty J maybe taken out, trying to juke away from the auto attacks, gets the dangerous game from the Masteries, and Wonderware gets a little bit of health back. So that was a 3-for-1 after that trade just before. This is really back and forth. for.
Triforce Spike was exactly what Team Dignitas were looking for here, and they managed to get it onto Cobby. It's going to be a tower as well, as Ica doesn't want to go in on that. And yeah, that is just a bit of a scrappy engage, and just back and forth from these two teams. Dragon's up in 1 minute 20, so we will see a repeat pretty much of the same thing. We're going to see a repeat of the same thing again, because let's take a look. So this was the early engage. Jeebus, they managed to get a lot of damage down onto Jeebus, but he just turns away and just uses the culling, and there's nothing really that they can do to get onto this backline of Jeebus for a little while. Watch for the Tibbers onto Black Shielded Senkux. He's just before the shield expires. Sorry, nothing really that's going to happen there. Yes, Cobby was within range of that, but not enough to re-engage the fight. But Tibbers has got to land on a non-shielded target.
Yeah, but the point is it's still there.
Yeah.
You know, like in future engages, if it lands in the right place, they will come out far ahead. And that's not to say Gamers 2 are behind in this game. They are leading very slightly by 2,000 gold. They have the initial dragon as well. And typically these engages have been going their way. The last one was the only one that really went heavily in the favor of Dignitas EU. And there goes the ward, just trying to clear some of this out with the Raptor buff. And Dragon spawning in 16 seconds.
Teleport.
The teams will be trying to contest it.
Is in favor of Smitty J.
Yeah.
He has his teleport. No teleport for Wonderwear. Very important as we get closer. So Wonderwear has to be here for the fight already. It allows Smitty J to just push. And if you're Gamers 2 right now, you can just say, as long as we don't let them take the dragon here,
like they are doing right now.
Like they're doing, Gamers 2 need to contest this or contest the mid turret. They need to trade advantageously, which means they need two turrets from this, or to contest the dragon. They've now only got one option left. Can they get both turrets?
It was too slow. There was no minion wave there, though. Yep. And Team Dignitas, they see the physical top lane. He started the teleport. Great Tibbets comes down onto 3 members. Smitty J comes into the fight. Only lands the ultimate onto Wonderwear, though. Maybe not the ideal target, but Senkux takes a step too far forward, and Ica will lock him down. They may even go deeper on this, but they got 3 and 0. That's good enough. They'll go for the middle turret, so they came away with what they got, or what they wanted to get.
They did indeed. Turret is going to go down, and at the beginning of that fight, Broken Shard flash ultimates all the way through the fight and actually got locked away, and from there was dueling against 2. The rest of Gamers 2 from that Tibbers just did so much damage, and what can they do against this composition from Gamers 2? Because every time you think you have somebody down and defeated, Ica has his ultimate to ult himself if he doesn't ult an enemy. Fizz can jump away. There's mobility on the side of Gilius and Jeebus. And after the ultimate from Vi is down, how do you follow that damage up? It has to be Senkux, but he can't get through to the backline every single time.
Yeah, time after time, he's always ulted by Ica. Yep. You know, a cleanse wouldn't have gone amiss in this game. That would have actually been quite nice in some of these fights. But then again, Smite, or rather Ignite, is Smite and Ignite is very good for getting into those one-on-one fights. Still, he is behind in the mid lane in terms of farm, is drawing even in terms of kills, and is kind of keeping up in his item build as well. Has the Morellonomicon plus the needlessly large Ra. Senkux over the wall, lands the charm, lands the damage onto Hiva, but the Molten Shield actually makes him fairly tanky.
He's also got an Aegis of the Legion as well. So
yeah, that'll be going
he already has a fair amount of MI.
Solari, yeah.
Yep. So he's already very tanky when it comes to an Annie at this point in the game. So he can survive a fair amount of Senkux damage in those little trades. But he does have to be careful that charms don't keep landing.
Yeah. Baron has just spawned, but we won't be seeing too much of him for a while. 1 dragon apiece in this game. 5k advances 2 Gamers 2, so it's now getting more significant, plus those 2 towers, so they do have this control over the map. Gilius is trying his best to actually clear out the wards in the opposing jungle. And also compared to the last game, this is, again, revolving around the top lane. And Smitty J, now on a champion, maybe he feels he can do a little bit more on, is definitely doing a little bit more because he's 80 farm ahead of Wonderwear.
That's quite a lot more, I would say.
He's 70 farm. I'm good
he's
at maths.
Really in a... It's okay, maths isn't that important.
That's true.
It's okay, stay in school. He's 70 farm up. That is a big, big lead here for Gamers 2 up in that top lane. And the problem is, who's going to stop Fizz? Who can stop the split pushing Fizz? Because they have to put somebody against him. Typically, Morgana would be okay because you just clear the wave out. But every time Morgana walks up on Fizz, Fizz just goes aggressive. Lands the ult and... Ooh... Could have been danger there for Gilius, but he managed to sidestep all of it.
Voidal with the Howling Gale, again, losing his wards.
Smart by G2. They're going to pressure out Wonderwear in this top lane. Yes, they're walking over wards, but can Broken Shard and Voidal do enough to stop this? They're already engaged under the turret. Turret's down.
3 versus 5, just not enough. They decide to not go in. Kobe and Sankooks in the mid lane did not react fast enough. Top tower goes down. Just a nice rotational play from Gamers 2. Just had the timing on it. Good push onto the top lane. Gets them another tower over their opponents. And now Fizz is pretty much hitting critical mass. He's got those 2 big power items. And interesting. So Gamers 2, yeah, I mean, like they won the game yesterday and they're doing very well in this one. It's a safe call to go with the 76%, yeah, against Team Dignitas. It
is a safe call for now. We'll see whether Team Dignitas can bounce back during this game. It's going to rely on that young man, Sankooks, the 16-year-old player from...
Danish mid laners.
Yeah, I was going to say from Denmark. The fish will be happy.
I was going to say a phrase there, but I can't say it on air.
So, yeah, Smitty J might be saying part of that phrase in a couple of seconds, because
at least the start of it
is waiting for him here. Yeah, just not the bit with the yeah. Sankooks goes in.
Sankooks, but he does land the ultimate onto him. That's a lot of damage in return. And picks up the kill with the auto attack. Broken Shot. He's 1
2.
He's 1 on 3. Oh, he's still ticking down from the W, but it's not enough. A 1 for 1 and almost picking up 2 in a 1v3 means Gamers 2 will be able to go for the Baron. Wow, Smitty J is strong.
Yeah, that's been on that. They've been on that Baron for a little while as well, because, and especially after they showed 3 people bot lane. That's going to be really difficult to deal with because Fizz is split pushing enough as it is. He's already getting turrets and damage on turrets. Now he's got Baron buff, which means he's got Fizz is going to have the reduced damage on the minions, so now Morgana will never stop Fizz pushing in anyway. Tormented Soil just will not do enough to clear the wave. That Fizz can't just sit there and say, yeah, you've got to move behind your turret because I want it.
This is going to become a very big problem for them. And Dignitas even know how far behind they are in a 1-on-1 situation where in a 3 versus 1, they only barely got ahead onto Smitty J. So they have to come up with a solution, and it may just be having to force fights with the rest of the members, but I don't think they're far enough ahead to do that. So they're kind of in a lose-lose situation.
They are in a lose-lose situation, which does not bode well for their standings. Team Dignitas currently at 2-5. The only team they have beaten is Mouse, and everybody else has beaten Mouse. So it doesn't really help too much in the current standings. They really needed a win here if they wanted to compete. I think the only situation that they'd actually be able to stay in is with 2 wins over Reason Gaming. They would have to 2-0 Reason Gaming next week if they lose this game.
I think that's just as hard as trying to pick up wins against Gamers 2. So if they can't do it here, it's a good bet that they might not be able to do it against Reason Gaming as well. There's a shield to keep it alive for an extra half a second.
There's Fizz split pushing.
Smitty J, and they just don't commit anyone to him.
I'm silly. Fizz won't get the Baron buff because he was dead while they picked up Baron. So it's not quite as difficult as possible. That last game really has just...
True, but you're right in the sense that in the bot lane, no one can really deal with him. And they just put 5 versus 4, and that still wasn't enough to stop the push. That means in turn, Gamers 2 pick up a Dragon on top of that. So not only do they have 6-1 towers, they have 10k advantage in terms of gold. They pick up another Dragon, and Smitty J is just farming away. He's pushing away the bottom lane, bit by bit, and Dignitas, they're trying to buy time to come up with a solution, but so far, nothing's coming to mind.
Nothing is coming to mind. However, Wonderwear may reach a point where he at least, maybe once in a blue moon, can sit in that lane. Zhonya's Hourglass is going to be very important for Wonderwear. He has to Zhonya's during the Chum the Waters so that he doesn't take the damage from it, and try and maximize the damage, maximize the amount of damage he can reduce by stopping the auto attacks from Fizz as well. It's a very difficult point to make.
I understand.
Basically, Zhonya's may save him once, but then Fizz will re-engage and probably kill him again.
Yeah, that is the TLDR. Bottom lane now, Gamers 2 will try and make more tracks in the bottom lane. The bottom tower did fall to Smitty J as he pushed with the rest of the team in tandem. There is a stun onto Gilius, just get the charm down. Sankooks as well, just hovering between this base gate. Jeebus and Ica to the right-hand side. This is risky even to go for the pink ward.
All the meanwhile, up in the top lane, Smitty J is pushing Again, he is causing so many problems here.
Still no Zhonya's.
For Team Dignitas. Still no Zhonya's available. Still, oh, there's the engage.
There's the engage. SmittyJ jumps on top of him, comes in with the playful tricks. That
he got it. The outplay.
Yeah, underneath the turret, gets the binding down. Wonderwear, that's exactly what he needs. Even without the Zhonya's, SmittyJ did not play that correctly.
And coming into this game, we said this game could be a little bit sloppy because of how much they really want to beat each other, and that is point in case right there. Fizz thought he could get the kill, but he didn't actually, he fully committed but didn't assess the damage. And you're laughing because I think I said point in case.
Yes.
And I meant case in point. But you know, at this point, the point is in the case.
The case is out of the window.
I was going to say the point is in the case, and Gamers 2 are trying to pack their luggage to make their way into playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to rescue it.
We'll just move on. So Ica in the mid lane here will be just clearing this one up, and Baron is not alive, Dragon is not alive, so it's really just gonna come down to another fight you have to feel. And that was really nice by Wonderwear. It has bought them some breathing room in the top lane. SmittyJ will probably just carry on doing the same thing. Like, he's not doing the wrong decision, he just executed the dive not well. So as long as he can do that, he'll just carry on doing it.
He did just give the Zhonya's over.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. So that Zhonya's is being completed. While it doesn't instantly win Wonderwear those engages, it means SmittyJ can't do the under the tower dives anymore, which he's done twice and died twice. Yeah. I mean, there is
statistically, it's not a good play.
Yeah, exactly. 0-2 on under the tower dives.
Okay, but what else is in store for this game? Because Gamers 2 obviously have a stranglehold over this game. You can see that in pretty much everything. All the boxes are ticked, and they're pushing the vision now into the opposing jungle of Team Dignitas. They're now just setting up bushes as well, maybe just to catch someone out. And Team Dignitas are just kind of running around like headless chickens. Like, they don't have a particular goal in mind.
They don't. And, you know, one interesting thing that makes this game a lot harder, and it's a change that happened a long time ago that we don't see all that often. That Aegis of the Legion did not go towards a Locket of the Iron Solari. It, in fact, went into a banner of command.
Interesting.
Yes, but...
And he's used it as well.
Yeah, if there's one problem that they're having with split pushing in one lane, you put a banner minion in the other and then push in the third lane with all 4 people, naturally, you're just choking Team Dignitas out of this game. As long as you just use that banner of command all the time, it's not going to win you the game on its own, but it makes it even the more difficult for Team Dignitas to actually spread their players out.
And SmittyJ may have been caught in the jungle, or maybe it's Broken Shot who's the one who's being caught. Wonderwear will have to use his ultimate on him and actually maintains with playful trickster, but now he's in the middle of the entire enemy team. He will be taking the damage from the culling as well. Jeebus again, that culling has been so value. Oh, SmittyJ jumps onto 3. It's not quite enough damage with the playful trickster with the big splash at the end. A 1-for-2 trade. Gillis will be now going onto the turret with the rest of the team, and that's all they need to do to pry into this base now. They take the first inhibitor turret. They've broken the shell of Team Dignitas EU.
Yeah, they're getting the inhibitor as well, and with Baron spawning in 15 seconds, they are on track to potentially pick up their second Baron of the game and then really put the final nail in the coffin for Team Dignitas. That's exactly where Gamers 2 are going. Or they know that Team Dignitas have a rough timer on this, so they're going to try and bait it.
Yeah, they know where they are. They saw them go through those wards, so they know they're trying to aggress, but Gillis kind of gives up the game a little. Just a little bit. And the other factor there is Voidler was already queuing into the bush, so at that point Team Dignitas were taking it fairly cautiously, so they shouldn't get caught out by any of those sitting in the bush ganks. Yeah, it's taken a long time for Gamers 2 to kind of reset to the stage where they can go with the game plan, pushing all the lanes, to kind of strangle out Team Dignitas. They managed to get that nice pick, which allowed them to push into the mid lane for the inhibitor, but now again, they're kind of loitering around the jungle. They're not making an active play. They're just kind of slowly pushing in. But they did go back to base and pick up a bunch of items, which will put them way far ahead of Team Dignitas in a head-on engagement. Now the Abyssal Scepter's being picked up, the Bloodthirster as well from Jeebus, all down the line. Like, SmittyJ's even picked up a defensive item now in 2 defensive items, primarily to go up against Wonderwear.
Yes, he has. And that QSS as well just means that if Wonderwear catches him with a binding, or during the ultimate. Ooh,
just like
speaking of
this.
a binding.
Yeah, he will land the ultimate onto Wonderwear. Go 1 versus 3 comes in once again with his E, but it's not going to be enough. But are we going to see a repeat of history? Because the rest of the team is on Baron. They are taking it fairly quickly, but I'm not sure they can take it down before Team Dignitas arrive. It's going to be a couple seconds. Jeebus is already planning out his escape route. So is Aika. We will have the engage perhaps coming in from Broken Shard. They do want this one. It is 5 versus 4. Senkux has used all his ultimate charges. There's Aika using his ultimate once again. Gideus tries to get the damage back onto Kobe. Oh, Jeebus comes in for 1. This may be Jeebus' time to shine. Picks up 1, picks up 2, picks up 3. Can he make it the 4th? 2 games in a row. Yes, he can. Second quadra in 2 games. Wonder where maybe they can even set up the Penta for him. Tibbers,
push Tibbers away. Go away. Stop it, Tibbers.
No, Aika. He's keeping him in place, but Wonder where might just take some damage from this turret. Oh, it goes to Heva with the last damage, but yeah, Gileas was already heading into the base, and despite that 5-0, that trade comes over to Gamers 2. They got the Baron as well, 7-1 on turrets, a pretty convincing win. It was back and forth in the early game, but honestly, after just watching a couple more team fights, Gamers 2 just got further and further ahead, and now they're pushing into the base. They may be running out of a little steam here, but now the rest of the cavalry has arrived, and it's just a matter of time before this Nexus goes down. Gamers 2 finished the week 2-0 over Team Dignitas, and that may be shutting down their chances to try and get into playoffs.
Yeah, it makes it exceptionally hard right now, but Gamers 2, they had a very slow start to the round robin. They had to face Origin. That didn't look so good, but week on week, they have got better and better and better. And they're looking great right now. They look like the second place team.
Yeah, they really do. Everyone does herald them as the second place team, and now they're starting to look like it. And I think it's really convincing to me at least as well. I was kind of more of a non-believer as we saw the first couple of weeks, and indeed the qualifiers coming into this. But yeah, they're looking good. They
are looking a lot better. On the other side, Team Dignitas are a team that they've got the pieces of the puzzle. They just don't fit together. And they're playing
it with their eyes closed.
Exactly.
So they have all of the pieces, but they're trying to cram it together.
And they're relying so much on Senkux and Wonderwear to do a lot of the work, and it just isn't working. They now have to get a 2-0 against Reason, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And that's a tough ask, because even in Reason's loss today, Reason still looked very strong.
Yeah, I feel like maybe they're a little weaker than Gamers 2, so if there is a chance, then it may be against Reason, but yeah, it's going to be a tall task indeed. So they have a lifeline, but it's a little far off. We'll see if they can do it. But with 1 week remaining, let's see where the teams stand. So now at the top of the table, it is once again Origin 8-0. They have secured themselves inside of the playoffs. And Gamers 2, Lowland Lions White will be tied now for 2nd. Then in 4th, Reason Gaming will be still sitting there. So still in that playoff spot. Team Dignitas again trailing behind, the same story as last week. And then that means Mouse Sports again 0-8.
So Mouse Sports are out. There's no more chances for them. Origin are in the playoffs. They're number 1 into the playoffs, 100%, undisputed. They will take the first seed. But we've got to find out who's taking the rest of the seeds. So you've got to join us next week, where we'll recap the penultimate games of the EUCS round robin, which are going to be played on Tuesday. And then our Wednesday broadcasted games will start with Team Dignitas against Reason Gaming, and we've already talked about how important that is.
Yeah, and after that, Origin take on Lowland Lions White, so it's their time to face Origin. And then we'll finish the round robin with Mouse versus Gamers 2. The action starts all over again at 6 p.m. CET next Wednesday. And if you missed any of the games from today or just want to watch them again, go to lolesports.com and check out our VOD hub.
While you're on LOL Esports, make sure you look to book your tickets for the grand finals here of Challenger in our studio here in Berlin. Hit the tickets tab and make sure that you get your seat for where we determine who's getting that automatic promotion spot for the LCS Summer Split. And for any teams fighting their way through the Challenger Ranked 5's ladder, just a bit of an advanced warning. The Ranked 5's Challenger ladder will lock on May the 18th at noon CEST for Europe.
Yeah, so try and get up there and get into the higher ranks of Challenger, because you may even be on our show in the Summer Split if you do manage to get into the top echelons of Challenger. But while the European Challenger Series is done for the week, this isn't the end of the line for League action. Tune in again at 11 p.m. CET or 3 p.m. Pacific time for Primetime League.
And after PTL, make sure you stick around, because Freak and Zyrene are going to be taking the reins for Week 4 of the 2015 North American Challenger Series.
Well, that's it from us here at the European Challenger Series. from myself, Stress, and the entire Berlin broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we will see you at the same time, same place next week.